We say dude way too much, dude.
I don't know, man.
I heard literally that we need to change our name to dude, so we could say dude.
Just called Dudecast?
Yeah,
It probably already exists.
the dude.
Well, I just want to say to all the people who say that we say dude too much, get your pencil out, get out your notepad.
Yeah.
We'll see how many times we get it. And if you're keeping track of how many times we say dude at home, go ahead and write it down in the comments section.
Yeah, that means you're paying attention.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll make a game out of it. It's a fun little game.
It's just what we call each other.
Dude, you know what we could do?
What?
It's a drinking game.
Actually.
Every time we say dude, somebody takes
What do you
a
know?
shot. The at-home viewers
Go
take
ahead,
a shot.
dude.
All right, take a slug.
I like it.
Oh, these little ice chips, man. Well, how you drink drinks with ice chips and it always gets in my mouth.
Well, like right now we're renting and the refrigerator broke and I don't want to complain.
So it only makes chips.
It only makes chips.
did
Christine
not
was
tell
going
me
back
that.
and forth on it and we just broke it.
Can you open up the tray on the inside and just grab out the cubes?
Yeah, but then you got your hands all up in there and you're grabbing all the cubes.
Oh, jeez. How many people are getting in there? It's not like this is a public cafeteria.
Well, yeah, but you know, in today's society,
I don't know.
do you know what my
How much
kids
COVID is on
touch?
this
Like
ice?
when they go outside and they come back in, what they've touched?
Okay, they can't even reach it, dude. That's a drink.
That's true. All right, here we go together. All right, do we? No, that's another. We gotta watch.
Well, thanks for bringing that up to Ryan, everybody, because now we had to talk about it, and now we've got...
Now we're gonna be 15 minutes in and just be gone.
Yeah, we're just going to be duding ourselves out here.
Oh, Larry.
We don't have to drink. That's for the at-home viewers.
Oh, okay. I got
All right.
you.
Okay.
So you were gonna surprise me today.
Yeah.
With the topic, we need to let everyone know.
Yes, I think you'll be interested in this one.
Oh, all right. I love it.
So, have you ever heard of auditing?
Yeah.
Police auditing?
Not police auditing, but I've heard of tax auditing.
Okay, it is close to tax season here,
All right,
but I'm
that's
not
true.
talking about tax auditing. This is police auditing.
Okay.
Okay, so I first started watching this guy on YouTube called Audit the Audit.
Audit the audit. Got it.
I don't know if he's a lawyer or if he's just like a legal expert or just well studied in this particular topic, but it's a great channel. And what they do is he takes videos of police interactions, police interacting with civilians,
Okay.
and he's kind of like a First Amendment, Fourth Amendment type guy.
Yeah.
So it's like freedom of speech, and it's all these people who, some of them are just like dash cam videos. So these
Okay.
people were not trying to make the police do something stupid.
I got it. So what they're doing is they're sending in their footage.
Yes.
He's auditing the action that was taken.
Yes.
It's kind of like a legal expert. Like you
Yes.
should have said, "I don't answer any questions,"
Correct.
and then you're not setting yourself up for a later court case.
Correct.
Essentially.
Correct. And he'll give the civilian a grade.
Okay.
Like, well, hey, I give this guy a B because even though he was in the right, he was still like belligerent, and he should have, the guy said, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right, and then the guy kept talking. It's
Yep.
like, don't plead the Fifth and then keep talking.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. You just have to stop talking.
Yep.
And then he'll rate the police officers, like,
Okay.
were they following the law correctly?
Okay.
And so some of them are just like dash cam footage of a guy getting pulled over and interacting with the police, and most of these people are putting this stuff on their own YouTube channels.
Okay.
So there's all these, as you would imagine, like if you
Yeah.
got pulled over by
I'm
the
sure
police.
the lawyers would love that.
Yes. So the lawyers like, don't do that.
It's like, please don't put that up on there.
But what's happened is there's a lot of people have realized that they can have a profitable YouTube channel
By
by auditing the police.
interesting.
And what auditing the police is, so Audit the Audit, that's like next level.
Yeah.
He's auditing what the other people did.
Yep.
What the auditors do is they actually go out and try to create situations where they're interacting with the police to see how the police do.
Oh, geez.
Okay?
Okay.
Some of these auditors seem to be very well trained. Like, they know the law. They actually belong to like constitutional groups, and And they'll go do things like they'll go stand outside a police office and they'll just stand on the sidewalk and they'll record. They're just recording because they have their right to do that.
Yeah.
And so then inevitably a police officer comes out. Hey, what are you doing? And the guy says, I don't answer questions.
Yep.
And their thing is, hey, this is legal. Why are you bothering me? I'm just a guy on the sidewalk recording.
Yep.
So, and then the police officer will be like, who are you? Let me see your ID. And he says, I don't have to give you my ID. And the police officer will say, yes, you do have to give me your ID. And then on that the audit channel, he'll pause the video.
And he'll talk about it.
And he'll actually pull up the documents of the law that says, well, in the state of Florida, they have to do this, this, and this. And here's the reasons why they can stop you. And here's why they can't. And is it a stop and frisk state? Can they just stop you and ask you for your ID? Do you have to or not? So it's a really good channel. I don't want to incriminate's the wrong word, but I don't want to speak negatively of the audit because that's a great channel.
Yeah.
I'd recommend anyone to check it out. It's actually kind of cool to see this stuff, and you can learn about your rights.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably really good for people that just to be educated, right? It's not to like see like, oh, the police don't know what they're doing.
Right.
It's more along the lines of I didn't know that was even a law because a lot of times people get pulled over and they're like just hand everything off. And it's like, well, did they even ask you why they pulled you over?
Right.
Did they address they were Officer Walters, right? Like all these things.
Yep.
And then people are just like hand their rights over without even knowing anything.
Correct.
You know.
And maybe they'll say something that can get them in trouble.
Yeah.
They might say something that gives the officer a legal reason to search their car.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, hey, have you had anything to drink tonight? And it's like, well, not tonight.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, did you do something else at another time? And then they start asking you questions, and next thing you know, they're searching your car because maybe you implied that at one time you did drugs or something like that, and now they're searching your car for drugs.
Yeah.
So, but again, like, I think the other. Okay, so let me take a step back. So let me talk about these auditor channels.
Okay.
There's a group of auditors that are actually like First Amendment and Fourth Amendment activists.
Yep.
They actually, their goal is to educate the police departments. Excuse me, that soda's coming up. Educate the police departments.
Too many dudes, which we have not said.
Dude, that's right. Dude, get your pencils out, write it down. That was a dude. That was a few of them right there. You got to count them from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So anyway, then there's a group of so these auditing channels have been around for a while. What's happened, I don't know how recent it is. This may have been going on for the past couple of years, but I just started seeing them come up on YouTube, is there are a ton of auditing channels.
Yeah.
Because now these people realize they have a legal way to go out and start trouble.
Ah, gotcha.
Okay, so
antagonizing.
And they are absolutely, without question, antagonizing police officers and private citizens.
Yeah.
They'll go stand in front of a church.
Dude,
and
who
film.
has that kind of time?
So there's one channel, and I'm not going to mention it.
Yeah.
Man,
you don't need to name
crazy.
Names. Yeah.
There's one channel where I did a search on them, and there's a website that kind of estimates how much money they're making on YouTube based on their views.
Sure, you can look at their revenue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, some of these guys are making like $200,000-$300,000 a year.
Dude, what are we doing?
I don't know.
We have 14 subscribers though. We are bumping up. Did I say dude?
Dude, I don't know, but I'm not willing to do that. It's too obscene.
Yeah, like we wanted to do ours just based upon like things that we've learned in life, stories, because we've done a ton of stuff.
So
you and I.
So it's kind of a moral or ethical dilemma, because technically, yes, these people have the right to do this stuff, but not everything you have the right to do should you do.
Sure.
Right? Even some of like the Second Amendment activists, like, you have the right to carry this gun.
Yeah.
But then you see people showing up to like political rallies with an AR strapped across their chest, and it's like, man, you're actually hurting your cause here.
Exactly.
You're hurting your cause.
It's so true, because I mean, like, even if like Christian faith, like Muslim faith, whatever faith you have, or if you have rights, people, it doesn't mean that you need to just show them every single day, right? Like you and I, we talk all the time, like rights, we're all for them. If we have them for now, then we're going to, like, we talk about it all the time. but people just take it to the next level and they antagonize the right.
Yes.
And it's like, you don't need to do that. It's just not.
So these auditors will do the gun stuff too. They'll
Yeah.
go walking around a Target with an AR, and they'll maybe not an AR, but like a pistol across their chest, open carry, wearing all kinds of like go fast gear, and like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Well,
And-
there's no reason to, because you're going to scare kids, and you don't need that kind of thing. Like, it's for your protection. If you do want to carry, great, and it's for your protection, but you don't want the bad guy to know you have it,
Yeah.
right? So why would you do that?
Well,
That's,
even in open carry states, be an adult, wear it on your hip,
yeah,
pull your jacket down over it,
Sure.
and call it a day.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, they have the right to do it, and this is where the dilemma comes in, because I don't want to say they shouldn't have the right to do that.
Sure.
But I also want to say they have the responsibility not to do that. Like,
Where
don't
was it?
do that.
Wasn't it California for a while where it was like with soda? Like they actually like banned soda. If you could only buy like a certain like
New
20
York-
ounces.
New York
Was it-
did that
was it-
first.
Okay,
You
yeah, New
couldn't-
York.
They got rid of the big gulp. You could only buy like up to a 16-ounce
Yes,
soda.
I remember that was years ago.
Yeah.
And then so people were like, well, just buy 2 16 ounces.
Right.
So again, they'll just play the law or the rule or whatever it is.
There's always there's ways around all these laws, but
Yeah.
So kind of going back to the auditors, these people are antagonizing citizens. So they'll just stand outside a guy's house
Yeah.
and film his house.
But
and then the guy walks up to him and is like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"We don't answer questions." And he's like, "Hey, you're filming my house, man."
Yeah.
And they are trying to they're trying to get views on YouTube.
Yeah.
They're trying to antagonize people into like assaulting them.
Yeah.
Because man, dude, if some guy punches you, that's going viral.
Yeah.
They're trying to get the police to show up, and then they sue police departments.
Yeah.
And I've searched up, so I did some research on a handful of them that popped up. Dude, one guy has like an extensive criminal record.
Yeah.
Arson, vandalism.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there and you're like, this guy does not care at all about the law. He doesn't care about rights or the law or protecting anything.
Yeah.
But he's doing this stuff under the guise that he cares about freedom and is protecting our rights, and it is absolute. And I'm going on all of them, and I'm posting.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say all of them. This is like a couple times a day I see this
All of them,
post.
all 58.
Yeah, there's thousands of these channels.
Yeah.
There's thousands. There's one here in Kalamazoo.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
and I'm like, for profit.
Yeah.
Auditing has got to go.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like when we did this, we weren't like, we want to be millionaires. Like we did this, like we had, personal reasons. Like, hey, this would be really cool to record our history because we have kids and they could look back and go, Ryan and Larry were so stupid.
Yes.
Or Ryan and Larry were funny, or I didn't know they had that story, right? Like
Yes.
let's say we get Alzheimer's tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Things like that.
Dude,
but
we might have all. I said, dude, we might have Alzheimer's right now, and not even know it.
I forgot we're here. But
Scary.
so yeah, I think like when people like we're just trying to do it for like good reasons, but when people start to do it for the wrong reasons for financial gain, then it sours not only like people, the industry, etc. It just makes cops look bad or first responders when they're the ones out there doing like the worst work every single day. Like you think they're going home with a smile on their face like every single day? Most likely not.
Again, you have the right to do it. You have the responsibility not to. And what it's causing is, because you can make money doing it, there's more and more people doing it.
Yeah.
So imagine you work for like Town Hall in Kalamazoo.
Yep.
What if everyone in Kalamazoo decided they were going to try to make money being auditors, and they just start walking into Town Hall with their cameras out, filming stuff, just to get the employees to freak out and wonder, like, why are you recording us? I don't answer questions.
Yeah.
It's like,
Dude,
come on, what are you doing?
Could you imagine like people like getting in a fight? This sounds like a Netflix. It's gonna be a Netflix thing, like the documentary section of Netflix.
Yeah.
They always find like the hottest thing or whatever, and then they go off of it. But again, could you imagine like 6 people like going in a courthouse and the auditors are fighting the auditors? They're auditing each other.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
I guess so the guidance from these like the cities and the states and the people who are like the government employees, the guidance is basically ignore them.
Yeah.
Ignore them. They want to get a rise out of you. If you just ignore them, that video will never end up on YouTube. Because the other problem I have with it, and this kind of goes to all reporting, is they only post the bad stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
They may have 150 interactions with police officers over the course of the month, and maybe 10 of them is an officer that's like frustrated.
You just gave the definition of news.
Yeah.
Literally.
They will selectively edit, selectively share information.
Yeah.
And tell you, like, I'm protecting your rights. But they won't show all the times it went well. And look, realistically, I don't expect them to. And I'm pretty neutral on police officers. I think I'm not, like, super anti or super pro. I think it's a necessary job. Do I think that maybe we can make some improvements there and improve training and things like that? Yes.
Yep.
Do I also think that there's a lot of officers walking around with PTSD from some of the crazy, crazy things that they have to see, and maybe they got a little bit of a hair trigger? And yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a reason. I mean, you were in the military. They don't just deploy you for 10 years straight. They got to pull you back at some point and give you a break. And even then, people have problems for long periods of time after. Well, if you're a police officer and you walk into a crime scene and you see children and, you know, people who have been killed, and that's got to take its toll on you. And we expect you just to do that job for 25 years.
I think of that movie, The Other Guys, with Will Ferrell.
What a great movie.
They did the same thing, though. Like,
what a great movie.
You know, they were out, they got too hot, they were at the desk, got too hot. You know, they wanted to go back and do what they were doing. They were walking the beat.
Yep.
It's kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't keep doing the same thing every single day. It'll burn you out mentally.
Yeah, you get burned out. And so is that an excuse? No. Is it a reason? Yes.
Yeah.
That someone may snap and go off and do the wrong thing? Sure. And I'm not even talking about, like, actual criminals. I'm talking about people who actually on a normal day are a good police officer and want to do the right thing and take care of people. Push anyone enough and they can kind of pop off. So I have a little compassion there too, and it's a necessary job. You know, on the flip side, I think anytime you give anyone power, I don't care who the person is. Anytime you give anyone power, there's going to be a tendency to abuse that power a little bit. Even if it's as simple as, like, pulling over another police officer and letting him off the hook. Like, come on, give that guy a ticket. Just because he's a cop doesn't mean you got to let him go.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of, like someone at a cash register. Like, they finally moved up to head cash register.
Yeah.
You know, the head register person.
Start taking money off the top of the till.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens all the time. It's kind of human nature. Like, if people can kind of get away with it, they will. And I think there's a leadership element to it as well. Like, in any job, police officer, military, corporate, teachers, nurses, I don't care who you are. If something is deemed acceptable from the top and is just kind of overlooked, you're just going to get more of that.
Yeah.
Whatever that thing is. And if it's bad behavior, you're going to get more bad behavior.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people don't know, like, what the rules are. So it's good to be educated, but again, going back, like, to antagonize, so, like, you know, you just ruined this guy's day, you just made him lose his job. Obviously, we should all be, like, well versed on whatever career we're in. You should know, you know, most of what it is, but everyone has a bad day. And then what if the guy you go up to antagonize, or audit, we should say, is having that bad day, and then he, like, literally loses his job? He's got, like, 4 or 5 kids at home.
So the one guy I know who does it in Michigan, whose channel I've watched, I Googled him because I wanted to learn about him, and he did get arrested for some of his auditing activities around a school, and that one was upheld. But he also won a $95,000 lawsuit against a city, and he got a captain fired.
Yeah.
So, you know, should that captain have been fired? Maybe. Maybe in that instance, he should have been.
Yeah, but have you ever seen, I mean, I haven't, but the book has to be, like, this thick.
Of laws?
Yeah, like, how are you going to know you probably have, like, your top 100 laws that you know: don't speed, don't drink, drunk in public, abuse, you know, but that little section in the back, like, you know.
Well, I'll give you a short version of what happens, and then I want to ask you a question here. But a short version of what happens is guys walking around filming police cars in the parking lot of the police station.
Yep.
Okay. And he's not filming, like, the police cars. He's filming the people's personal cars.
Okay.
And license plates.
So the police officer's personal
vehicle.
and
anyone who works in that police station.
Gotcha.
So you'll get a guy who's doing that, recording VINs, and it's legal. They're in plain sight. It's public property.
Yeah.
He can do that legally. Should he? No.
Yeah.
So there'll be a guy walking around doing that sort of thing.
Okay.
Then one police officer will come out. Hey, what's going on? I don't answer questions. All right. Well, it's a little weird. You're just walking around filming our cars.
Yeah. Like looking in my windows.
Can you tell me what you're doing here? I don't answer questions. And then all of a sudden, now you see the officer get hot.
Yeah.
Now he's getting pissed.
Well, his job is to stop criminal activity, and he's viewing it as criminal activity.
Right. But it is not.
I know, but you got to think. You go outside right now.
He thinks it's suspicious, but
correct.
Just because he thinks it's suspicious
Correct,
doesn't
yeah.
mean it falls
Innocent till proven.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't meet the standard because it's illegal activity.
Yep.
It would be like if you were sitting in a bar drinking alcohol and the police officer started questioning you about how you're getting home, and you're like, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
until I get in my car and start driving,
Yeah.
you can't come in here and start harassing me."
Yeah.
So it'll start off like that, and then he'll say, "Well, let me get some ID. Who are you? I don't answer questions."
Yeah.
"Hey, you have to show me your ID. I don't have to show you anything." "Yes, you do." "No, I don't." "Yes, you do." "Okay, I'm going to call my captain." Boss comes out, sergeant, whatever.
Yeah.
Comes out. "Hey, what's going on?" Now, sometimes there's good sergeants who are actually protecting their employees and, frankly, who know the law.
Sure.
Who will be like, "What are you doing?" "I don't answer questions." "All right, have a great day, sir. Come on inside."
Yeah.
And they just leave him alone.
Yeah.
And then the guy leaves. Other times you'll have them get power trippy. And that's kind of what these guys are trying to do. They want to see if these people can control their temper, control their power, hungriness, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and just walk away. And a lot of times they do just walk away. But sometimes they pop off, and then they'll say, "You have to give me your ID." "Well, what are you going to do if I don't?" "Are you going to arrest me?" "Yes, I'll arrest you." "Is this a lawful stop?" "Yeah, it's a lawful stop." Well, the officer at this point is getting in over their heads.
Yep.
And next thing you know, they arrest the guy, put him in jail for even 5 minutes, put him in cuffs, put him in the back of the car, and that's when you get a $100,000 lawsuit.
Yeah. Crazy.
Crazy.
So,
okay, so let me ask you this.
Yeah. So go ahead. Ask me the question.
So have you had any interesting interactions with the police ever? And I'm not asking you to incriminate yourself.
Yeah. No. Like actually in high school. So I was telling Christine this. This had to have been within the past 6 months because we were back in town, hometown. And we were at a party, and I had to have been 17, 18. I can't remember exactly. You're 17, 18. And a lot of rowdy people were there, and it was like pretty hot spot. And in our town, it was like little hometown Kansas. So like cops were everywhere. You get a ticket going 32 and a 30
Was it
real.
a small town?
Small town.
So they probably knew all the parents, knew all the kids.
Yeah, like I literally think I was pulled over by our DARE officer. Like
Yeah.
it is small town, I swear.
For those watching at home, DARE is
Oh yeah, what is it?
DARE. What is it?
No, it's
Drug Abuse Resistance Education.
Yes, correct. And it had like it was a
Cool DARE T-shirt.
no, it was a dog. It was the dog, right?
I think
Yeah,
that
the
was a
DARE
different
dog.
thing. Sergeant Scruff or something. Who
Yeah,
knows?
man, you know everything. Yeah, that's who it was. So anyway, what happened was we left the house. Actually, it was me. I was going to go home. I was always home by midnight. And I stopped at the stop sign, but made a right-hand turn. And then as soon as I made it, like lights were on, cop lights were on. And like I didn't drink at all in high school. Like I was like the good kid.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I never did in high
I
school.
didn't have after I turned 18 and got out of high school. I graduated high school when I was 17.
Yeah.
But before I went to college, so I think maybe I was still 17. I had like a few beers. Some of my buddies took me out and they were like,
Yeah.
you've got to have a couple of drinks.
Yeah, I
before you
didn't,
go to college." But yes, I did not. I never went to big parties and never drank. But
not to like segue on it. Like I didn't drink till college. Like that was when I started drinking.
Yeah,
So anyway, so I make the right hand turn. Lights are on immediately. I'm like, what is going on? 3 cop cars pull up behind me.
Jeez.
And they came up and he's like, can you step out of the vehicle? And I'm like 18. I didn't know anything. You know what I mean? Not 17, 18. I'm like, sure. So I get out of the vehicle.
Well, especially if you know you just haven't done anything wrong.
I don't know what was happening. I'm like,
if-
there's 3 cops. I'm
You're
like,
I haven't been drinking. I don't have any
You're
drugs. Like, all right, I'll get out of the car.
17, 18 now at our age. That's like, you're still a kid. You don't
Yes.
know the the laws of the
You just
city.
are going to do what they say.
Just do the speed limit. Don't run signs, whatever. So I got out and the cops had a canine dog. And he's like, we're going to search your vehicle. I don't even think they asked me. I was like, okay. I was like, and he's like, have you been drinking? Because it was a big party and they were probably all around the house. And I was like, I haven't been drinking. So they go through, they like see if there's like, they tear all this stuff out of my trunk, see if there's like bottles in the back. And there's nothing. And I was like, see, I told you I didn't have anything. They just walked off and left and turned their lights off and drove off probably to the next car that
They're
was
going to do
leaving.
it again, yeah.
Dude, that was it. I mean, they didn't ask me anything. I
You
didn't
said
know.
it again.
Again, what was, did they say dude?
Yeah.
I didn't even know what was going on, though. You know?
I get it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, and you know, what would they say? There were no dash cams then. There was none of that stuff. So all they
You
had
didn't
to do
film
was say,
anyone then.
All they had to do was say, like, you rolled through the stop sign. You didn't stop all the way. That's why we pulled you over.
But
Eh.
I knew that I didn't roll the stop sign because they would have gave me a ticket. They weren't there for that. It's just, and like a dog was like smelling my car. I'm like, that was the Toyota Tercel we talked about earlier. The other,
That probably wasn't even a trained drug dog. They
no,
probably
it
just
wasn't.
Had it there.
No, it was the guy's poodle, I think.
They just had it there just in case, so they could look for drugs and be like, "No, the dog definitely said there was something in here."
No, I think it was like a new German Shepherd. You know, like he didn't bark right.
He was like one of the ones that didn't pass the test.
Yeah,
and they're
no,
like, we'll
yeah.
take them.
Like his bark was like rah rah. And
Half
you're like,
price.
what's going on here? So yeah, I mean, but they literally, I remember this because they were like, okay, and they just started leaving, and they didn't tell me I was free to go or anything, and I just started putting my car back together.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just the mats. They just took the mats and threw them.
Guess that's it.
Yeah, I was like, and the lights went off and they drove off. Like, I mean, it was within seconds.
And would it kill him
You
to
know?
give an apology? Like,
They weren't there for that though.
would it kill him to say, "Hey, thanks for not having any drugs in your car.
Yeah, hey, thanks for being a good
Thanks for being
kid.
a good kid."
Yeah.
They don't do that.
Like my homework was in there. They didn't do that.
Yeah. Hey, while you're in there, can you do my homework for me?
Yeah.
Would it kill him to say thanks for being a good kid? You're right. We didn't find anything in there.
No,
Because
it wouldn't.
they still think you're suspicious.
Always.
They're thinking, well, we'll get you next time.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
And I mean, like the big thing when we were kids was like marijuana was like taking off, right? Snoop Dogg was making his first jams, and it was just marijuana all the time. So they probably were looking for that stuff too.
Totally. Yeah,
You know?
looking for marijuana.
Yeah.
Looking for booze, looking for something you weren't supposed to have.
Yeah.
So the
That's why when I go to airports now, I just put beef jerky in my bag.
dogs alerting. I think I heard this. I don't know if it's true, but I heard, and someone can Google it. I heard that dogs that are trained for this sort of activity,
Yeah.
they're either trained on drugs or they're trained on bomb stuff, but never both.
Yeah, probably because of their senses. They're trained for certain type of
Yeah,
activity.
I might be wrong on that, but
I would assume so.
I think all of the dogs at the airport are bomb dogs. Not
Oh, are they?
Not drug dogs.
Huh. I
Maybe-
do always carry beef jerky though, like at the airport, which by the way is getting super expensive. So I
Beef
kind of
jerky's like $1,000, man.
when you go to the airport, for those people that aren't going or flying recently, which I haven't flown a lot recently, it's
Yeah.
just insane. It's like $14 for the little bag.
Airport prices
You know.
don't exist in the real world anyway.
Yeah, like
$5
you're not
for
free to go.
Aquafina. It's like $5, really? Let me check this other store down here. Oh, their prices also happen to be $5 for Aquafina. What a surprise.
You're 100% right. It's like $4.25 for water. I remember being a kid, it was 99 cents. It said 99 cents for soda at
Yeah.
the time. 99 cents.
It drives me insane. But the I had one interesting interaction.
I was going to ask you, I was going to say, what do you got?
No, it's good. I had one interesting interaction with the police where I was coming back from I was at the landing in Detroit.
Yeah.
And I had to drive back to Kalamazoo. It's about a 2-hour drive.
Yep.
And at the time, I had my white Honda Accord.
Okay.
It was late.
You've had a lot of Honda Accords.
That's the only Accord I've had. But
Oh,
we
I
had a
thought you
Honda
had
Odyssey, and
I thought you had a
some
black
Hondas.
one.
No, Adam Downey has a black one.
Oh.
He gave it to his daughter.
We just said our friend's name.
Yeah. Hey, Adam Downey. Hopefully you're watching this. You got to mention on the pod.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
So it was late fall, and it was like kind of misty out, kind of a somewhat foggy, misty, rainy-ish night.
Okay.
And I'm driving way too fast.
Okay.
Okay. It was definitely in November because I have an October birthday, so my registration on my car expires in October.
Okay.
So I had an expired registration.
Yeah, but don't you get like 90 days for that? Or is it 60?
I don't think you get any. You have to replace it by the end of that month.
Oh, I thought it was like 30 days, but anyway.
You get the month. So,
Gotcha.
so if your birthday's October 1st,
Yeah, you get till
have
November.
Until October. Yes, you get until November.
Gotcha. That's what I meant.
Yes, mine's October 21st, but it was still expired. I actually forgot about it. I forgot it had expired, and I had to go get
The 6 notices in the mail didn't tip you off.
I don't even think they come in the mail anymore, man. Maybe they do. So but I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
Like while I'm driving, I didn't realize it until after I got pulled over, and I grabbed I'll tell you the story, but I get my registration out. I'm like, oh, Jesus, it's expired.
Yeah, that's the number one thing for me is the registration.
Getting pulled over for that?
Well, no, that's not. I don't like a habitual offender.
You getting pulled over?
No, it's like you go in there, you're like, this is like 4 months old. You know, maybe they mailed it. Your insurance mailed it. You ripped it up because you're like, this is trash, whatever.
I don't know.
You know, but anyway, go.
You
ahead.
can actually go to. They have a kiosk at the grocery store that you can go
in
to.
Michigan.
In Michigan, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's for your not for your insurance, but for your title,
For your title.
tags.
Oh, you're saying your insurance was expired.
I was saying the insurance card.
Yes.
It's like every 4 months they want you to get a new one. You're like,
Yeah.
this thing's like a year old.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about anyway.
So I'm also driving like 85 in a
Yep.
70,
Yep.
and I'm entering a construction zone.
Okay.
Now-
that's where they get you.
So this was this wasn't quite yet a construction zone. They had just started putting the barrels out, the
Yeah.
orange barrels,
Yep.
because they were getting ready to do some construction,
Yeah.
or they had just finished some construction, because they were all like way off to the side of the road. So it wasn't technically an active construction zone, I don't think, but there were still barrels off on the side of the road.
Yeah.
So those three things.
I wonder
all right?
what the laws are. Is it like one cone is out, then it's a construction zone?
I think
have
it has to be labeled as you're entering a construction zone.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I
like
don't
the orange
remember if I
sign.
saw one of those signs or not, but I'm going like 85 construction zone,
Yeah.
expired registration.
in the rain.
And funny enough, as I'm driving, and I was listening to a college football game on the radio, I actually just didn't notice how fast I was going.
Yeah.
And I looked at the speedometer, and I'm like, geez, I'm going way too fast. I got to slow down.
Yeah.
So I start to slow down, and then boom, lights come on behind me.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting pulled over. So I pull over, and the officer comes to the window, and he says, and I roll my window down like all the way.
Sure.
And he says, do you have a medical marijuana card? And I was like,
It's like the go-to.
what? I think he asked me for my ID first. He said, yes, he did. He said, driver's license.
Sure.
Give him my driver's license. Do you have a medical marijuana card? And I was like, huh?
Yeah.
And he's like, you heard me. Do you have a medical marijuana card? And I said,
Wow. I'm just so surprised it's the go-to.
I said, officer,
It's not like, do you have any drugs in the car?
No,
Do you have an attack dog in the trunk?
you'll hear why. You'll hear why. I'll
All
tell
right.
you why. So this unfolds. So, and I'm like, officer, honestly, I don't know why you're asking me for a medical marijuana card.
Yeah.
man."
Yeah.
Like, no. I said, no, I don't.
He's like, are you a Gemini?
I said, no. Yes. Starts asking me, what's your sign?
Yeah.
What are you doing later?
Is your wife Sagittarius?
Do you want to hang out? I'm just pulling people over as a way to make friends.
Yeah.
So I said, officer, I do not have a medical marijuana card.
Yeah.
And marijuana is legal in Michigan now, but at the time it was
Yeah.
only legal if you had a medical exemption.
Or knew Snoop Dogg?
Or you knew Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Or Willie Nelson. So I said, officer, I have no idea why you're asking me for this, but no, I do not have one. And he
Yeah.
says, are you kidding me, man? You don't know why I'm asking you? And I said, nope.
Yeah. You're like,
And he's like, I smell marijuana coming out of your vehicle. And I said, officer, I'm sure. I said, look, I work for this. I told him where we work. And I
Yeah.
said, I work for this corporation. I just landed in Detroit. I'm heading home.
Yeah.
If you look in my back seat, you'll see my suitcase back there. That's my
Yeah.
luggage.
yeah. That's my
I-
50 pounds of Coke.
I said, I do not have any drugs in this car.
Yeah.
I said, I haven't smoked marijuana. There's no, I said, I'm sure any lawyer, I actually said this to him. I said, I'm sure that any lawyer
Yeah.
would tell me that I am insane for saying this,
Yeah.
but you can get in my car, you can get in the passenger seat right now and smell my car.
Yeah.
Like, you will smell that there's no marijuana in here. And he's
Yeah.
like, you don't smell that. You don't smell that. and I stick my nose. I'm like, I start smelling. I'm like, what does this guy smell?
Yeah.
So I start sniffing around, and I kind of stick my head out the window a little bit.
Yeah.
And I said, "Officer, that's a skunk." And he's like, "Huh?" And I said, "That is a skunk."
Yeah.
So it was one of those like really foggy nights, like I
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
So you know how the air gets really heavy?
Yeah, and
so
dense,
A
yeah.
skunk must have sprayed like miles away because it wasn't like a super strong smell.
Yeah, it was like
of
the
skunk.
faint one.
It was a very faint smell of skunk.
Yeah.
He just hands me back my stuff and says, "Have a nice day."
He's like, oh.
He didn't give me a ticket for going 85. He didn't give me a ticket for the expired registration, nor did he even mention it.
Yeah.
He didn't mention any of that stuff. He
Yeah.
just said like drive safe. It's because the roads were kind of wet.
Yeah.
He's like slow down. He did say slow down, but he didn't. So what he was doing, he was not looking to pull people over for a ticket.
Yeah.
Okay, he was looking for drug runners that are going between like Detroit and Chicago or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they can do that civil forfeiture thing.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Where they search a car, if they find 10 grand in there, they just take it. They're like, "This is drug money, we're taking it."
Interesting.
So he had no interest in issuing tickets. He wasn't looking for speeders. He was looking for drug stuff. And it was a state cop, and that's what their job is. I mean, they're not looking. They will pull you over for speeding, but the state cops are higher level guys. I mean, they're top tier. Usually very professional, very good at their job, and they're not looking for low level crimes. That's for the local cops to deal with.
Yeah.
But I thought it was crazy, and I just left. That was it.
I'm excited that you weren't high during your
correct.
work trip.
Yeah. And then, funny enough, I had a huge brick of Coke in the trunk.
No, what a sucker.
Got it. He didn't ask about the Coke. He asked about the
I know,
marijuana.
you're so honest. That's what I like most about you.
If he had asked about the Coke, I would have been like, actually, yeah, I got about 80 grand worth of cocaine in the trunk.
Yeah, they call me the mule.
Yes. It was crazy. So,
especially
yes,
'cause
obviously.
you just flew with that. So
that
I mean,
was a
it's-
joke. There was nothing in the car.
I know, but for our viewers, we should
For our
probably tell them.
viewers.
Yeah. I think we did a great job not saying dude this as much.
Yeah. I think
And then-
we got all our dudes out at the very beginning.
We definitely did.
Hopefully, we got some viewers who have been playing our dude drinking game and got pretty tuned up during this episode.
At least
but
in the first 15.
it was. I think it was a good time.
So to wrap it up, the guidance is probably at least know your laws
Know
at a
laws.
minimum. You don't need to get. I don't think people need to get crazy because for the most part, people are doing stuff to be bad. If you're a good person,
Yep.
But it's still probably good just to know, like, if an officer gets, I don't know if out of hand's the term, but kind of goes over edge. You're like, hey, at least you know that you could say, I'm not going to answer that question.
Yep.
You know?
Well, the other thing that Audit the Auditor always says is that stuff is for the court case.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
says, do your best, comply at the time.
Yeah.
But if an officer is violating your rights, the side of the road is not the time to fight that battle.
Yeah, 100%.
You comply. Don't put yourself in harm's way. Don't risk getting shot or dragged out of the car or
Yeah,
pepper
go to
spray
jail
or
that
something
night.
like that.
Yeah.
Comply. And if they did violate your rights,
Yeah.
then you sue them.
Yep.
And then you get paid in court. So that's
So-
a good piece of guidance.
Is that your guidance?
I got a piece of guidance. This is a good piece of guidance, I think. Don't break more than one law at a time.
That's true.
Okay, number one, don't break any laws.
Yeah, I
But
was going to say, that's probably the
definitely-
first one.
Definitely don't break more than one law at a time.
Yeah.
That's how people get caught. So if you're going to have drugs in your car,
Yeah.
which is illegal,
Yeah.
don't speed
Yeah.
because that's how they're going to catch you.
Sure.
And if you're going to speed, don't have expired tags.
Yeah.
Right? So that's it's kind of a joke, but
Yeah. Don't buy liquor with an expired license.
Don't break more than one law at a time. I remember when I was in college, we were at this party, and it was a New Year's party. This is a real quick story, but it was
I was
all.
going to say, because we just told everyone we're wrapping up.
I know we're wrapping up. This is a really quick story.
All
but
right.
You'll actually like this. It's relevant. So we were at a New Year's party, and everyone from my job was there. We were all friends, and we were all at this New Year's party.
Yeah.
I left that party, I think, at like 2 a.m.
Okay.
All right, maybe 1:30, something like that.
Yep.
The next morning, I go into work, and everyone who was at that party got an MIP, minor in possession of alcohol.
Gotcha.
And I was like, when did the police show up? And they were like, 1:30. I'm like, I left at 1:30. I
Yeah.
literally walked out of that place, like, must have been a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes
Right
before
before.
the police showed up. So what two laws were they breaking? they were drinking underage, but they were also being incredibly loud.
Yeah.
So they got a noise violation. They got a noise complaint. The cops show up. Now they come in. Now you're all getting busted. So if you're going to be underage and you're going to be enjoying a couple of cocktails, keep it low key.
Just be by your drink alone.
Don't drive. Don't keep it low key. And
maybe the moral should be just don't drink under 21. But
I mean, yes, but I'm talking like.
But if you're in Nebraska, Kansas, northern Wyoming,
yeah, definitely don't drink when you're under 21. But if you're going to, don't drive. Don't do anything stupid. Don't drink too much hard liquor. Don't chug alcohol, and keep an eye on your friends. That's my guidance.
All right, awesome. This was a good one.
I
like this one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got some people throwing stuff in the comments, so I think people should throw stuff in the comments.
Yeah, put some stuff in the comments.
Yeah.
Tell us if you're pro dude, anti dude. Would love to hear about it. Tell us if you're pro police officer, neutral, anti police officer. Thin blue line.
Yeah.
Let's get that. Let's get the comment section fired up.
Let's not get too crazy though.
I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
We're asking people to put stuff in the comments.
Yeah.
There's not going to be anything in the comments.
Probably not.
So
they're like, I'm going to lose my job if I say anything.
Whoever's watching this video, probably us or one of our parents or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
they're gonna say, boy, these guys are talking about all this conversation happening in the comments.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be anything there. It's going to seem kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
And it is. It's quite embarrassing.
We also share it with your friends.
Yeah. Share our podcast. Share it.
Yeah.
What is it going to kill you? Jeez. Costs you nothing. Freeloaders.
All right, everyone have a good rest of the day.
Peace.
Or night, whenever you're watching this. Later.